An artifact smuggling raid, a hidden teacher, the Rock's temple discovery. He taught with quiet wisdom until Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson awakened his hidden knowledge. Who was this man? And why did he rise to fight? Stay tuned. This tale will enlighten you. It's Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, 5:58 p.m. plus 300. The lush Yucatan Peninsula near Tulum, Mexico, glows under the late afternoon sun, the air warm with the scent of jungle and stone. Inside a modest schoolroom with adobe walls, Carlos Rivera, 50, grades papers, his hands steady from years of teaching. His linen shirt is slightly wrinkled but neat, his face marked by faint scars that hint at a life beyond the chalkboard, his dark eyes reflecting a quiet intellect. The murmur of students and the distant call of howler monkeys fill the space, as villagers know him as the dedicated teacher who educates their children. But no one probes his past. He's simply Carlos. Carlos pauses, adjusting his glasses, and glances at a small radio on his desk. Its static breaking with news of illegal artifact smugglers targeting archaeological sites, armed gangs, thefts. A shadow of unease flickers across his face before he resumes his work, his movements deliberate. Beneath a locked drawer hidden behind a bookshelf lies evidence of his former life. An encrypted tablet, an emergency signal device, and a smoke bomb, secrets buried deep, unknown to all. The following morning, a rugged SUV rolls into the village, its tires crunching along the dirt path. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson steps out, his towering presence drawing awestruck gazes from the villagers, part of a global documentary tour to document retired warriors' stories, commandos, assassins, agents. Dressed in a lightweight gray shirt, cargo pants, and hiking sandals, he carries a camera crew, their equipment glinting in the sunlight. Children gather near the temple ruins, their eyes wide while locals nod in respect. Carlos, leading a history lesson outside, hears the commotion and approaches, offering a courteous nod. "Welcome," he says, his voice calm yet firm. Dwayne approaches, the jungle air invigorating him, and watches Carlos explain ancient glyphs with precise clarity, his hands gesturing with authority. He notices his focus and the scars tracing his neck. This teacher has a story, he thinks, his curiosity piqued. Carlos hands him a small clay tablet, etched with Mayan symbols, its surface smooth, and Dwayne thanks him, intrigued by the wisdom in his steady gaze, signaling his crew to set up as the village buzzes with excitement. Night falls and chaos erupts. An illegal artifact smuggling gang storms the temple area, masked gunmen emerging from jeeps, their rifles glinting under the torchlight. They seize the ruins, taking villagers hostage and using stone altars as barricades, their shouts blending with the rustle of leaves and cries of the trapped. Gunfire echoes through the jungle, police sirens distant and faint. Carlos, preparing lesson plans at home, hears the disturbance and peers out. A smuggler bursts in, aiming a pistol, demanding he stay silent or die. Carlos reacts with surprising agility. Grabbing a wooden pointer, he strikes at the thug's wrist, the pistol clattering to the floor. As more smugglers advance, he moves to the bookshelf, unlocking the drawer with a steady hand to reveal an encrypted tablet, an emergency signal device, and a smoke bomb. Tools from his covert days. Arming himself, he springs into action, analyzing terrain data on the tablet, activating the signal to alert police, and deploying the smoke bomb to shroud the temple in a thick haze. He pulls a hostage to safety behind a pillar, his breath ragged, adrenaline surging. Dwayne, observing from a ridge with his crew, mutters, "This man's a strategist," his admiration growing as he prepares to join the fight. With police reinforcements arriving to subdue the smugglers, the temple area is secured and the village begins to recover. Dwayne enters the schoolroom, finding Carlos reviewing his tablet, his hands steady despite the tension in his jaw. He sets his camera aside, leaning against the desk with a warm smile. "Carlos," he says, "that wasn't just teaching skill. What's with those devices?" Carlos freezes, his eyes dropping to the signal device still in his hand. its light blinking faintly. "Old lessons," he murmurs, his voice tight, but Dwayne presses gently. "Come on, those scars, huh? That fight. There's a story. Share it with me." Carlos exhales deeply, the weight of his past rising to the surface. He sets the device down and meets Dwayne's gaze. "During a conflict," he begins, his voice low and measured, "I was an intelligence analyst, decoding enemy plans. A mission failed. My team was misled because I misread the data. I've carried that guilt ever since." Dwayne listens intently, noting the pain etched into Carlos's features, the teaching masking his shame, and a plan begins to form to help him find redemption. Carlos's confession lingers with Dwayne over the next few days. He returns to the schoolroom with a stack of books, finding Carlos writing on the board in the early morning light, the temple's echoes still fresh. "Carlos," he says, setting the books down, "you saved lives that night. Why keep it buried?" Carlos pauses, his chalk hovering over the slate, and turns to face him. "Because every student," he replies, his voice cracking, "reminds me of their voices. My team, lost because I failed. Guilt keeps me teaching, not fighting." Dwayne nods, his expression empathetic and resolute. "Maybe this village needs that fight now. You can protect them, turn that guilt into wisdom." Carlos looks away, his skepticism evident, but Dwayne's words spark a glimmer of hope. That night, alone in the schoolroom, he opens the drawer again, pulling out a faded intelligence report with his team's last mission details, tears welling as memories of the miscalculation and loss flood back. A week later, on August 26, 2025, a Knowledge and Safety Day is announced. Dwayne and Carlos transform the temple area into a community celebration, setting up tables with books, local crafts, and food stalls under a canopy of strung lights. Villagers gather, children learning history, elders sharing oral tales, the air alive with the scent of copal incense in unity. Dwayne calls Carlos to a makeshift stage, his voice carrying over the crowd as he recounts his tale. The analyst past, the team's loss, the temple fight. "This man," he declares, his tone both powerful and warm, "turned his knowledge into a shield for us all." The crowd erupts in applause, some villagers approaching Carlos with grateful nods and murmured thanks. He steps forward, clutching the report, his voice shaky but firm. "Justice and learning are for everyone. I do this for them, for my team." Dwayne collaborates with local police to dismantle the smuggling gang's operation, then launches a safety fund to protect the village, rallying the community around Carlos. The temple area becomes a symbol of resilience, its ruins reflecting newfound wisdom. By September 12, 2025, the village thrives with a renewed sense of cultural education and security. Knowledge and Safety Day's impact lingers, with locals organizing literacy programs and patrols. Carlos continues his teaching, his scars a silent testament to his past, but his spirit now carries a quiet pride. Dwayne visits to bid farewell, presenting him with a hand-carved quill engraved with scholar. "This is he says, his eyes reflecting pride. Carlos takes it, his fingers tracing the inscription, whispering, "Thank you," as emotion swells within him. The narrative closes with the village's unity strengthened, Carlos's redemption shaping a safer, more enlightened future. Dwayne's voiceover seals it. True knowledge rises from scars, illuminating hope for all. Carlos Rivera proves that. Have you ever met a hidden hero like Carlos? Someone who turned pain into purpose? Share their story in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. If this tale inspired you, hit that subscribe button, like, and share to keep these stories alive. Join us next time for another epic journey with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.